If you're 28 years old and checking your account before buying a $12 sandwich, you already know something is broken. You work full-time, maybe even 2 jobs, but the math never adds up. That viral phrase, "I am the poor," hit different because it's true. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now, and it's not because we're lazy. The system is designed to keep you stuck, and pretending effort alone will save you is the biggest lie we've been sold. Here's what we're covering today. First, how shame around money is literally costing you hundreds of dollars a month. Second, why working harder without strategy is a treadmill to nowhere. And third, the exact first moves that actually create momentum when you're starting from zero. This isn't about motivation, it's about mechanics. Let's start with the most expensive emotion you're probably carrying right now. Here's what nobody tells you: shame has a price tag, and when you're broke, you literally cannot afford it. I learned this the hard way when I was 23, living on $1,400 a month in a city where rent alone ate $950. There was a food pantry 3 blocks from my apartment that I walked past every single week, pretending I didn't see it, because admitting I needed help felt like admitting I was a failure. That shame cost me roughly $180 a month in groceries I couldn't afford, which meant overdraft fees, which meant more shame, which meant worse decisions. It's a cycle that bleeds you dry. When you internalize poverty as a personal character flaw instead of a systemic reality, you make expensive choices. You don't negotiate your phone bill because asking feels like begging. You avoid free community resources because walking through those doors means admitting you're one of those people. You take the first job offer without countering because you feel lucky anyone wants you at all, leaving maybe $3,000 to $5,000 per year on the table. A friend of mine stayed in her apartment with black mold for 8 months because she was too embarrassed to ask her landlord for repairs or report him, thinking she should just be grateful to have housing. She ended up with respiratory issues and a $600 urgent care bill. The shame cost more than the advocacy would have. Here's the reframe that changed everything for me: poverty is not a moral failure. It's a math problem in a rigged system where wages haven't matched inflation since our parents were our age, where entry-level jobs require experience, and where one medical emergency can zero out months of careful saving. You are not broken. The system is. But here's the thing about that system: you can't just work harder and expect different results. I need to tell you something that might sting: working harder at your current job probably won't fix this. I know, we've been fed this line our whole lives that hustle equals success, but let me show you the actual math. If you're making $15 an hour and you work full-time, that's 2,000 hours a year. 15 times 2,000 equals $30,000 before taxes. You could work 50 hours a week instead of 40, pick up every overtime shift, never take a day off, and you're still capped somewhere around 40,000 if you're lucky. The math just doesn't work. This isn't about effort, it's about what I call skill leverage. Your time is the same 24 hours whether you're making 15 an hour or 150 an hour. The difference is the value the market places on what you know how to do. I watched my friend Sarah figure this out the hard way. She was 26, working retail for $16 an hour, picking up every shift she could. She was exhausted, burned out, and still couldn't save anything meaningful. Then she started learning copywriting online, free courses on YouTube, practicing every night after her shifts. 6 months later, she landed her first client at $75 an hour for freelance work. Same effort, same hours, completely different outcome. She didn't work harder, she worked at something the market valued more. That's the real secret nobody tells you when you're poor. Effort matters, but only when it's applied to building skills or income streams that actually scale past that hourly wage ceiling. The good news is you can start learning those skills right now, today, without spending thousands on college. But first, you need to know exactly which moves to make first. Here's what nobody tells you when you're broke: you can't budget your way out of poverty. I spent 2 years meal prepping chicken and rice, canceling subscriptions, walking instead of taking the bus. I saved maybe $1,200 total. That's not nothing, but it's also not escape velocity. The math just doesn't work when you're making $28,000 a year in a city where rent is $1,400 a month. So here's the actual first move, and this isn't financial advice, just what I've seen work. Stop optimizing poverty and start building one specific thing. A $500 emergency fund. That's it. Not 3 months of expenses, not some perfect number. $500 sitting in a savings account so the next time your car needs a repair or your phone breaks, you don't spiral into overdraft fees and payday loans. Once you have that buffer, and only then, you shift every ounce of energy to increasing income. Not saving harder. Earning more. My friend Jessica did this at 24. She was making $32,000 as a retail manager, constantly broke. She spent 6 weeks learning Excel and basic data entry on YouTube. Free. Applied to 50 office jobs. Got one that paid $42,000. $10,000 jump. Same city, same expenses, completely different life. She could breathe. That's the pattern I keep seeing. People who escape don't penny pinch their way out, they skill up their way out. Learn something marketable. Get a side gig that pays $20 an hour instead of $15. Negotiate your current salary, which 70% of people never do. The first move isn't sacrifice. It's strategic income growth from whatever position you're in right now. But even knowing all this, there's still that voice in your head saying you're not good enough to make it happen. Let's bring it all together. First, we talked about how shame is expensive. The guilt you feel about being broke actually costs you money in late fees, predatory loans, and bad decisions. Drop the shame. Second, we covered why effort alone fails. Working harder at a $12 an hour job won't change your life, but leveraging a skill like graphic design, copywriting, or even social media management can turn those same hours into $30, $50, even $100 an hour. And third, we hit on first moves. Focus on increasing income first, not just cutting expenses. You can't budget your way out of $28,000 a year, but you can skill your way up. Look, poverty isn't permanent. It feels like it when you're in it, but the first step out is always a mindset shift. You have to believe you're worth more than what you're currently getting. So drop a comment right now. What's one skill you're learning or want to learn this year? I read every single one. And if this hit different, subscribe because I'm dropping real money mindset content every week, none of that hustle porn garbage. Let's actually build something.